The Feast of Holy Family. What is this feast? Actually, this feast is not that old as we think in the Catholic Church. This feast is coming actually from the 11th century, and it comes to the peak only in the 17th century. I would say in the year 1893, it is coming to the Universal Church through Pope Leo XIII. It's very interesting that Pope Leo is trying to establish this feast, especially in the time of industrialization, where the families have to concentrate themselves so that they can become the vital importance, or they can play a vital role in the society. Of course, families in India, we did not have this problem like in Europe, but at the same time, today when we see the families are having similar problems like in Europe or in the Western countries. The Holy Family Feast is giving a lot of insight for us today. One side, the Catholic Church is always giving importance for families. That's why it spends a lot of money, it organizes so many structures where really the families are saved. There are so many places where we can have also help for the couples when they have problems and so on. That means for the Catholic Church, the family is very important, especially the traditional family where a father, mother, children, grandparents, grandchildren are together and so on. Because the Catholic Church sees a model in the Holy Family. Mary, Joseph and Jesus, they build a small family, a fine family, and they are actually a model for all the families in the world. That is why the Catholic Church is always giving importance to the traditional family, and I think it is very right. My dear friends, but at the same time, if we really understand the Holy Family or the structure of the Holy Family, we can really see that a family should have a vocation and it has to be sent. They should be apostles. Otherwise, family cannot become a holy family. Of course, we know from our own family structures. Maybe you may have a very wonderful family, but many of us did not have the luck of having a beautiful family. Actually, though there's so many problems which we are having, so many fights which we have, so much hatred or jealousy which we have in the families, or because of material things or lands or money. So all these things make or they destroy the family structures. And many of the places we see that the brothers, they don't speak among each other, the sisters, they don't speak about among each other. So like that, there are so many problems. And how can we say that a family can be a holy family? So it's a very big question, my dear friends. But at the same time, when we really look at the Holy Family, Mary, Joseph and Jesus, we can really understand that this whole structure is actually built for sending, because they are actually called for something else. Man, woman, child, they are actually forming a holy community, not to live for themselves. That is the real meaning of family in the Bible or in the Catholic Church. We are actually meant for others. We are actually sent as servants for others. Like a priest who is actually anointed to serve the people, a family is actually blessed for others, to live for God. That is why, especially we experience as Jesus is becoming 12 years old and he is coming to the Jerusalem temple, and somehow the parents are missing him, and they go back to the Jerusalem temple to find him again, and so on. And this 12-year-old Jesus is telling his parents, "Why are you looking for me? My Father is actually a Father in heaven." It was like a slap for the parents, for Mary and Jesus, but at the same time, they should understand that the real vocation is to be for God. It is not just that a husband is loving wife and wife is loving the husband, and the children have to love the parents and so on, just to have a very good life, very good enjoyment and so on. No, my dear friends. Actually, the first and foremost, the goal of living is for God and for others. That is why a family is stronger to live for Christ than individuals. Of course, the ministerial priesthood, the priests who are ordained like me, we are actually to help the families how they have to or they can live their own vocation, that they are actually sent as servants of God into the world. Actually, in many of the times, the families or the lay people, they have better experience in life than we. That means they are working in the normal fields, and they are working in the offices, and they really know the politics, they know really the sufferings of others and so on. That means these people are actually sent as missionaries into the world. So one of the great mistakes which the Catholic Church did, as far as I understood, is we have not given the responsibility for the laity to serve the people directly. We always made them like subordinates to the priests. Of course, I mean, in the liturgical ways, the priests can do wonderful things, but in sending, in apostolates, we should have given a lot of power, and we should have given a lot of responsibilities to the laity, because they know the world much better than the priests. So in that way, my dear friends, the families, they are actually the nuclear elements to represent Christ in the world. We see in Mary, Joseph, and Jesus, these three are not typically symbolizing our families. Because we hear that Jesus was born with the power of the Holy Spirit, and Joseph was having a hard time to accept Mary. That means it was not that wonderful model. But at the same time, we love them as a holy family because they lived for Christ. They lived for the Christ values, and they showed how it is possible to be sent as apostles into the world. So, my dear friends, when we celebrate today the feast of the Holy Family, we can really accept that our families are not perfect. It will not be also perfect. But at the same time, everyone is called to be a messenger of Christ's values. We have to present and represent Christ in our life. Whether somebody is a priest or somebody is a lay person, somebody is a woman or a man or a child or an elderly person, we all are called to present and represent Christ. Only then the ecclesia, the whole church will be holy. So, my dear friends, today when we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family, let us really pray for this vocation, that every human person who is baptized is actually called to serve, to represent Christ, that we all be united, ministerial priesthood and common priesthood, that everyone is united just to serve the Lord through our own ways, through our own vocation. So that's me. All the best, and God bless, and we will see again, and have a wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye.